What a day for the Toronto Maple Leafs as the Leafs head in Minnesota, and oof, that was a close game. The Leafs win 4-3 over the Minnesota Wild, and they now improve to 12-5-5 this season. Now that is actually a pretty good win for the Leafs. Close min that was really close in the third period because oh man, it was all over. It was all hectic. Imagine if we lost that game, and imagine if we lost in overtime. That would have sucked. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that we won, and it was actually pretty good. My main problem is playing a game at 2 p.m. Like whoever came on a weekday, whoever came up with that, come on, really, 2 p.m. games on a weekday. Like if it's on a weekend, then fine, I get it. But on a weekday, really, no, because yeah, you know what happened. People are at school, the people are at school, people are at work. So there you go. And of course, their next game, accordingly, well, speaking of which, afternoon game, Leafs play at 2 o'clock against the Flyers, December 22nd. Oh, that's gonna be great. And I think that's the only one. I'm assuming that's the last one. Anything else? Okay, yeah, they have a 6 o'clock game against Nashville, so in March. I don't think that was actually like a six or not 2 p.m. or 1 o'clock game. So at least we're saved for now. But yeah, we're feeling pretty good. Let's talk about the game. Now before that, Borg Salming passed away yesterday. Well, by the time recording on Thursday, and it was not that great. I mean, he was honored in Hall of Fame night against Pittsburgh and Vancouver, and it was pretty sad seeing how the former Leaf legend Salming passed away. And yeah, as you can tell, I don't know I don't know that person. I wasn't born in that. I wasn't even a fan of the Leafs back then. Well, actually, I wasn't even born. But it is kind of sad. I am kind of saddened about that, and yeah, it's nothing. No words can describe that, but nothing I can do about it. But as we can tell, we know there were some injuries that happened with before. Hold on. With the Borg Salming, we'll get to the injuries later. Borging is gone, but he will not be forgotten. He'll be the greatest Leaf of all time. And now we get to the injuries, and you know what happens. Jordy Ben is out. Okay, with an upper body injury. That's not fun. Um, Morgan Riley's out with a knee injury. Oh, that's not good. What's the next player? Oh yeah, right. Oh my God, TJ Brody, and then Samsona's still out. And of course, that's not good. Defenders are out. Jake Muzzin's still out. We know he's not going to be playing until further notice, so that's unfortunate. But life goes on. Anyways, let's get through this game right here, right now. First period was a back and forth game. I mean, it was not that pretty good in the first two. I mean, you had a power play, and you let the Wild kill off the power play at the end, and like, that wasn't fun. If I, yeah, accordingly, that wasn't fun whatsoever. Of course, you lost. Of course, Minnesota to try to. You see Marc-Andre Fleury making some good saves to avoid the Leafs from taking the lead, but Mitch Marner never never stops. He fires up his 15th point streak, and he scores his fifth goal of the season, assisted by Timothy Liljegren and John Tavares at 3:42 as the Leafs take a 1-0 lead. And of course, the Leafs go on the penalty kill, and I don't like it at that point because, unfortunately, accordingly, Matt Murray had to make a one save, but he couldn't get the next save as Krill Kaprizov scores on the power play's 12th goal of the season at 12:01, assisted by Joel Eriksson Ek and Mark Zuccarello, and you're tied at 1. Not where you want to be. But then Z. Aston Reese says, you know what? I'll take that back with like around 42 seconds. Zeaston Aston Reese scores his third goal of the season, assisted by Pierre Engvall at 12:43. At 12:43, we're feeling pretty good. At the end of the first, it is actually a 2-1 Leafs lead. Okay, that's actually pretty good. The Leafs are playing pretty good. Shots on goal for the Wild, 12-10. Not that great, but you're still making a good run. That was until in the second period. Oof. Matt Boldy scores on his 8th goal of the season right in the back of the net of Matt Murray, assisted by, I think it was like Greenway and Alex Golgoski. Jordan Greenway and Alex Golgoski at 2:38, and you're tied at 2. That's not fun. Again, if we go in the same position again, blow a lead and shit, we're screwed. But of course, you had to make some shots. Matt Murray had to make some devious saves in the long run. We know that was coming. He even robbed some players, but that was in the third. We'll get to that later. And then Calvin Jerome scores his 5th goal of the season, assisted by Mark Giordano and John Tavares at 10:04, and that is where the tiebreaker ends. At the end of the third, it is a actual pretty good game. You're actually up 3-2. Shots on goal 11-6, thus being it is 21-18 Toronto. Shots on goal. That's actually pretty good for the Leafs. Let's keep this going. Yeah, accordingly, you had some chances, and that wasn't pretty good. Couldn't put it in the back of the net of Matt Murray, and ooh, it sucks. Matt Murray had to make some desperate saves to avoid the game from being tied. Matt Murray had to stop April's pucks for this. The one wild player go on a short-handed breakaway. Nope. Let Matt Murray do the job for you. And thus he saved the game accordingly. But then, of course, within 23 seconds left to go, William Nylander scores his 11th goal. 11th goal of the season, assisted by Michael Bunting and Victor Mete at 13:23, and you're up 4-2. This should be the nail in the coffin, right? If it was a 5-2 game, it would have been a 3-goal lead. Yeah, not exactly. And Marcus Zuccarello scores his 7th goal of the season, assisted by Alex Golgoski and Kirill Kaprizov at 16:26. And I'm like, oh no, here we go again. I'm not going to let this crap happen, because at this point, you want to win this game, right? Exactly. But of course, in the end, Matt Murray robbed the one player tying goal, and of course made some devious saves. I'm like, oh no, you're not. I'm not gonna let that tying goal get past me this time. And the Leafs are up and have won the game, safe and sound. Shots, and you win this game 4-3. Third period, the shots and goal was 7-10 Minnesota, and thus it was a 28-28 game. Shots and goal at the end. Yeah, okay, there you go. Matt Murray was pretty decent. He had 25 saves. He had 3 goals against, but then 28 saves wise. He had a save percentage of .893. Marc-Andre Fleury, 24 saves, and had a save percentage of .857. 2 former Pittsburgh Penguins goaltenders fighting for their lives here. I mean, okay. Actually, Marc-Andre Fleury. Oh yeah, he was a Penguins fan. He was a Penguins goaltender, and yet he was a Knights goaltender, and then a Blackhawks goaltender, and then a Wild goaltender. What is going on here again? I will never know. Of course, John Tavares had 2 assists. That was pretty good. He couldn't get any score wise. Let me show the game. Show this real quick before I end up here. Easton gets a goal. Michael Bunting gets an assist. Engvall gets an assist. Mark Giordano gets an assist. Timothy Liljegren gets an assist. Marner gets a goal. Willie Nylander gets a goal. Of course, everyone's doing well. The only players that didn't, oh boy. Yeah, had your chance. Had some shots on goal. It was too little, too late. For the Wild, of course, Alex Golgoski had 2 assists. Capizzo had 1 assist. Matt Zuccarello had 1 assist. Joel Eakinson had 1 assist. Jordan Greenway had an assist. Yeah, there you go. For the Leafs, however, face-off wise, you win the face-off by 56%, while the Wild only won by 44%. Power plays, I mean, Leafs had their chances, but they couldn't crack it. The Wild were only good on the power play. That's where they were 1-2. We are 0-3, and it sucked, but what it is what it is. The Minnesota Wild had 22 hits. Toronto had 12 hits. Okay, so there you go. So that's it. That's actually it. That was a pretty good game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, despite it being a like a 2 p.m. game, which I'm not a fan of because on a weekday, really, there's people going to school and there's people going to work. Ain't nobody was watching that game. So that's my little hate here, my little pet peeve here, because accordingly, nobody. If it was at 8 o'clock, I would have stayed up a little later and just do the video later, and there you go. But of course, you had to put it at 2 o'clock. Not that mad. I'm just not impressed on how the NHL put this game at 2 p.m. I understand it was a Black Friday game, but still, there's a post Thanksgiving game, but still. Next off for the Leafs, on the 26th of November, the Leafs take on the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. And of course, it's on a second out of a back-to-back. Whoop-de-doo. Oh, look at that. The Pittsburgh Penguins beat the Flyers 4-1. This is going to be freaking horrible because now, oh yeah, there's no excuse here. Both Leafs and the Penguins had doubleheaders. They're going to travel to Pittsburgh. They're on a second out of back-to-back, and hopefully, let's see what we can do against Pittsburgh. Starting goaltenders for the Leafs, Eric Shalgren, and for the Penguins, Casey DeSmith. Let's hope we can win against Pittsburgh. I'm hoping. Let's hope. All we want is some hope here. That's all we want to do is beat the Penguins. All right, that's gonna do it. I'm signing off.